I don't go live often on YouTube, and I'm trying to do it more, and I really need to get a schedule going. So hopefully whoever catch me today, catch me. And I will try to get a schedule going for this so that I'm not just randomly going live for no reason. But I just felt the need to come up on live to talk about what's going on with the Jimmy Kimmel situation. And really I want to talk about it from a constitutional law perspective, because I think it's important that we understand why people are ringing the alarm and being like, First Amendment, please. Like, what's going on here? Hey, hey, Jess, how are you? I just got to talking. I'm so sorry. I got excited as soon as I logged on. How are you, Jess? Thank you for being here, cousin. Good morning. So anyways, I'm on here to talk to y'all about what's going on with the Jimmy Kimmel situation, and not so much from a Jimmy Kimmel perspective. Hey, Rhonda. But from the perspective of how this works when it comes to the Constitution and why we need to be a little bit nervous. Because I really think from having conversations with people, if I'm keeping it a buck, a lot of people not taking what's happening right now serious. And I say that because I have friends on all different levels from all different type of tax brackets, right? And I truly feel like my friends in the tax brackets where these things affect them the most are just like so oblivious. Like, I see why people say ignorance is bliss, because they just like, they don't think fat meat greasy. They're like, okay, so something else bad happening, I'm still struggling, I'm still trying to make sure my light bill can get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, how I'm gonna feed my kids with the woo. So anyways, I wanted to talk about it from a con law perspective so people understand, like, bro, our rights is on the line. Okay? My rights are on the line. Now, let me explain. This is how the First Amendment works. The Constitution in general, but let's just take it from the perspective of the First Amendment. The way that it works is that the Constitution is supposed to protect us from government action. So basically, it's supposed to protect the American people, people on American soil, right? I wouldn't even say just American people on American soil from getting violated by the government, and from the government getting in our business a little too much, right? So it's like government is created for the purpose of like helping and making sure everything copacetic, you know what I'm saying? Which is why we choose and we vote for people who are in alignment with what we think, how we think things should be ran. But the Constitution is like, yeah, but we already know when people get power, they can act real funny style and they can get beside themselves. Because we see what happened in Great Britain, right? Which is why the framers of the Constitution, the founding fathers, they left Great Britain, came to the Americas, did what they did. And they sent the Declaration of Independence and they wrote King George a letter and was like, bro, we don't like how you treat us. We want to be able to say what we want to say. We want to be able to criticize our government when we feel like it, when they get out of line, without worried about being thrown in jail. Okay, we want to run our own show. We don't want to be ran by you no more. So with that being said, big homie, we finna do our own thing over here in America. We finna be independent. We set up our little government play. This is how we finna run. And if you try us, if you think you finna come back over here and bother us, we done already put out a little message to the rest of the countries, and we gonna co-sign it down here. We done blind CC'd everybody else and said, we see y'all getting treated funky where y'all at too. So if y'all ever decide y'all want to lock up with us, let us know. As y'all can see, the way we fought over here in these Americas to keep this land, we bad about it. So just let us know if y'all want to get down with the get down. You help us, we'll help you type vibes, right? So, so now going into the First Amendment, right? The First Amendment, the way it works is you as an American person, or I wouldn't even just say as an American, you sitting here on American soil, right? The way that it's designed is like, it protects you from the government treating you funky if you say something, you decide you want to associate with a particular group, or you choose a particular religion. So the First Amendment protects freedom of speech, freedom of association, and freedom of religion. Okay? So the government can't dictate what you say. Now there's certain words that's not protected by the First Amendment. It's certain stuff that's not protected by the First Amendment. Fighting words, not protected by the First Amendment. If you say something that you know might get you popped in your mouth for sure, that's not protected by the First Amendment. Now, who decides whether or not what somebody says is good enough to get popped in their mouth or not? That's a whole nother story. But fighting words, not protected. Harassment, not protected. You can't be harassing people. Now, you could say some funky stuff about somebody, right? Say, you know, you can say some funky stuff, and the government can't be like, we don't like that you said something funky about Big Perm, so we finna put you in jail. They can't do that. That's what the First Amendment is for, right? So the reason why people feeling some type of way and why we need to be on alert and be like, oh, hold up, you got us bent, why people is canceling their Hulu subscriptions and stuff, because they like, what the hell? Hold on, the government not supposed to be controlling what people say about that? So you mean to tell me this man lost his job because he talked about somebody that these people is cool with in a way that they didn't appreciate, so they didn't stuck the government on him? What it do, Texas? You feel me? Now you out of bounds. Now this the thing though. This how they getting funky and slick with it, and this why y'all need to pay attention, because they think they trying to play in y'all face, but I got y'all. They trying to play in your face because ABC, for example, is a private corporation. The Constitution don't control what private people do, right? The Supreme Court not really trying to get in private people business like that, right? They're trying to make sure the government stay in this lane. People, y'all do what y'all do. When private people and private entities is getting into it, right? That's different. What's cracking, Jersey? Welcome. Make sure you keeping an eye out on what's going on with LaMonica too, if you out there in Jersey, right? So now the way it works is like, okay, cool. So ABC is a private corporation. So this is how they trying to play us, basically, or trying to play people. They like, ABC is a private corporation. Disney private. They get to make whatever decisions they want to make. If they say they don't want to fool with Jimmy no more, they don't like the show, you feel me? Kimmel ain't bringing the numbers the way they supposed to be. He supposed to be bringing the numbers. They not feeling it. They don't want to run the show no more. It is what it is. It is what it is. Right? That's how the government playing the role right now. T was like, you feel me? Big Perm was like, look, the ratings was low. He didn't got let go because his ratings was low. We don't know nothing about that. Whole time, if you look up Jimmy Kimmel ratings, they one of the highest between him, Colbert, and Fallon. He had the highest ratings. Okay? Everybody on cable TV, period, viewership is dropping because people don't really got cable for real and they not watching TV for real. You know what I'm saying? So viewership in general when it comes to cable television shows is dropping. But in terms of his ratings and how he was doing in terms of popularity, his numbers was high, right? So like his numbers way higher than Colbert, higher than Fallon. Kimmel was up there. So let's just start there, right? But they saying, no, his numbers was low. Whole time, though, Kimmel cracked a little joke about that homie who just transitioned, right? And let's keep it a peak. You may, whether you disagree or agree with that person that just transitioned, their friend that just transitioned, keep it a buck though. Like when somebody transition like that and it's somebody you close to, everything will set you off when somebody say something funky. The person may not even have the intent of saying something funky, and it may set you off because you like, dang, I just lost my dog. Like, what? Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. But the reality is that Kimmel had the right to say whatever he wanted to say at that moment. But what changed the game was Big Perm didn't like it, led to his FCC chair getting on TV and saying, well, Disney, I think it's Disney, ABC, whoever owned the program, we could do this the easy way or the hard way. Because what Buddy said wasn't cool. Big Perm said he ain't fooling with it. Y'all gonna have to apply for a license to keep running these shows next year. So, you know what I'm saying? If the FCC got to do a little bit of work to look into your paperwork and make sure all your paperwork is straight, if we got to check you like we checking these people who we say can't be over here, if we got to check your paperwork, make sure it's all the way 1,000%, then that's just what it is. Disney, ABC. So what y'all finna do? ABC then decides, hey Kimmel, we finna suspend this show, big homie. We're going to have to suspend your show, big dog. And then proceeded, whatever the parent company that distributes the show, right? Excuse me, the parent company that distributes the show said, we'll bring you back. We'll run the show again, but you're going to have to make a donation to Old Boy's organization. To Old Boy and them. And you need to go on and publicly apologize before we bring you back. As a private entity, that's giving extortion. Let me start there. I got to look up the elements of extortion again, but it's sounding real extortion like for your job back. However, most of these jobs is at will employment. In most of these states is at will employment, meaning your boss could fire you for whatever reason they want to fire you for. They ain't really got to give you no explanation. It can't come out that they fired you because they was discriminating against you. Okay, they fired you because you was black, or they fired you because you was a part of LGBTQIA plus community, you know what I'm saying, or because you had a disability. If it come out that they was violating, they violating you like that, now you got a lawsuit. But if your boss come to work one day and just be like, bro, I ain't feeling it, you got to get up out of here. It is what it is, right? This is where it get funky. Is that when it comes to the First Amendment, it don't seem like a First Amendment violation because you got a private company that is retaliating or made a decision to fire a person based off what they said, and the Constitution don't get into private people business. But this where it get a little funky though. See, this the part they not talking about. Is that when the government is entangled enough with that private organization, that private company, that private party, the would-be defendant, if it's an entanglement there, and you can prove that the government is so intertwined or so involved in the situation that the corporation couldn't have made the decision on its own, now we looking at First Amendment violations. Right? Now we looking at the government then got out of bounds, right? So you could argue on the one hand, Disney had the choice to choose, or ABC, whoever the corporation is, had the choice to decide if they wanted to let him go. All we said was do it the easy way or the hard way. Ain't our fault they chose the easy way. It was a hard way they could have chose. Okay, that's the argument on the other hand. On the one hand, right? And be that so, right? Be that so, if Disney would have chose that route, they could have chose that route. They could have wrote, or ABC, whoever, they could have wrote that out until it was time for them to have their application, or and allowed the government to continue to harass them, or whatever the case may be, right? They could have did that. And then as soon as the government retaliated and decided that they wasn't going to renew their license for whatever the case may be, then they likely would have had a claim that they could have taken to the court and said, the government playing with us. Because remember, corporations have rights. They got rights. Just like people, human beings. They got the same rights. Corporations have the same rights we as human beings have. So the Disney could have, or ABC, whomever, could have been like, yeah, they got us bent, dog. Like the government over here playing with us, they out in our, right? And they're not supposed to be doing that. But Disney didn't take that route. What Disney said was, oh, Loke, you got to go, homie. You up out of here. They said it's bad. I don't know what to tell you. We're gonna suspend you. We won't necessarily fire you, because now you can't file for unemployment and do all that other kind of funny stuff. But you suspended right now. Now, we'll give you an option to get your job back. Whether you like the option or not is up to you, because now you're making the choice on whether you want to come back or not. These are the requirements to come back. So you could choose, right? Same way Disney and ABC, whatever, you could have chose to take the hard way. And what is given to me, and why a lot of people canceled their Hulu subscriptions yesterday, is because these corporations are choosing dollars over democracy. Because you could have fought that, right? You could have had a viable claim that the government is getting out of bounds. And we talking about people who normally feel like the government needs to stay in their lane. Stay in your lane. Why are you all up in our business? Y'all, the main people who don't want all these regulations and stuff bowing down. You feel me? Bowing down like, shoot, it is what it is. They said it's bad, it's bad. For dollars. Because you had allegedly, word on the block is they got like a $6 billion merger on the line that they concerned about, that the FCC not going to approve. A monopoly, if you will. Where they own all the communication, so they gonna know what we say. They gonna control, what's being said, what we hear, what we learn, the narrative of everything. This is why people are concerned that this is state-sponsored television, because y'all took an order from Big Perm, and it trickled down to he don't like what was said, so we not finna have it no more. We're not going to let you say this on the airwaves no more. You can find another way to say it, but you're not going to say it on cable TV. That's why people are saying this is state-sponsored television. Now Disney then chose the other route, which was, well, shoot, they said it's bad, big dog, so we up out of here. You gotta go. We finna suspend this show. We'll figure it out later. It is what it is, which makes it harder to have a claim, or it makes it pacify the claim that they playing with the First Amendment. It's a constitutional violation. So all them blurred lines that we have in our in our Constitution, right? Because we have enumerated rights, which are written specifically in the Constitution, and then we got like substantive stuff where it's just like it is what it is, right? That you have procedural due process and substantive due process, right? So you have enumerated rights and unenumerated rights, stuff that's written, stuff that's just implied. You got procedural due process is a process for that. You got substantive due process, like, this is the right way to handle this. We need to consider this too. Yes, please. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Elsa. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes. Thank y'all for sharing this content. I'm so sorry. I get excited when I get to explain stuff like this. But hey, Sweden, thank y'all for so much for pulling up. Right? Thank y'all so much for pulling up to this live and for listening to me. Thank y'all so much for sharing this live. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, for your comments, and for helping me grow my channel. I'm so grateful. I'm hoping that I am giving y'all information y'all need. And if y'all have questions, please put them in the comment section. I know I could get to think, because I get excited about talking about this stuff. But I do be looking at y'all comments. So if you have questions, please ask them. Now, One Truth Media Company said he lost his job because he ain't popular anymore and losing money. I think the reality is that cable TV shows in general are losing money because not as many people are investing in cable. And not as many people have cable, right? And so viewership in general with cable TV has gone down. Now, if you check streaming, the numbers may be different. But as I mentioned at the top of this live, Jimmy Kimmel had the highest viewership and was doing the best amongst the audience age range of 18 to 49. Now, that's a lot of people. Okay, let's be clear, that's everybody and their mama. But apparently that is how advertisers determine if this is where they want to spend their money when they advertise. And so apparently of all the 3 late night TV shows, Colbert, Kimmel, and Fallon, Kimmel was doing the best of them all. And he was actually doing better. His viewership was actually better, I believe, like this quarter than it was last. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Janissa, for putting your company, or excuse me, I read something else, sorry, for putting your cousin on to me. The only way we can get ahead is to not show our hand, but that's something we got to work on, okay? Well, that's why people are boycotting now. So I don't know if y'all heard yesterday, it was like a mass boycott where people in mass canceled their Hulu subscriptions, and apparently it was felt. And I tell people this, like, your dollars are also like a form of protest. Withholding your money is a form of protest, right? So when we think about what happened during the civil rights movement, we think about the Montgomery boycott, like that was people breaking the economic system, because the reality was like Black people was riding the bus more than anybody. So when they took that money away from them and stripped them of that privilege of having Black dollars in their system, and it caused an economic tragedy amongst those corporations, it was felt, right? So if you feel so inclined, right, cancel your subscription. It was hard for me. I ain't gonna hold you, because Reasonable Doubt come back. I love me some Reasonable Doubt. I love me some Hulu. But sometimes you got to let it be known, no, we're not moving like that. That's not cool. You see Target still trying to get their people back. Target done lost like $12 billion or something like that. Like, they done got hit big time. And it ain't, it ain't for everybody, and everybody not going to do it. It's respect either way. No companies that share morals and never on race. I don't know who One Truth Media Company is, but yeah. If you don't respect my race, then you don't share my morals. If you don't respect, like, That's just what it is. So I don't know. I don't really think you're a real person. We'd love to see you link up with Park Rose Permaculture and see where it goes. I'm not sure who that is. But yeah. Ditto George, what Hulo do, sis? Who Ditto. Rewatch the video from the top and then you'll get the whole context of what they did. Yeah. Somebody said free speech, right? Okay, that's your speech. You use your time on that? Oh, okay. What I mean is racism is bad. Okay. I've been listening for like 20 minutes and I can't connect anything you've been yapping about. Oh, well, then this is not the place for you. You should probably go find another creator to get your information from. That's okay. I don't speak everybody's language. I'm sorry. Bye. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. Anyways, with that being said, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I love y'all too. I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. I just wanted to have that conversation with y'all one time for the one time. I really appreciate y'all. Okay, thank you for your 20 minutes. Shoot. Run the views up, Bookie. Run up. Okay, how the day he deserves. I ain't even worried about it. But yeah, Ditto, go watch this back from the beginning and you'll find out what Hulu got to do with all this. But yeah, know y'all rights. Thank y'all for joining my class today. I love y'all and I will see y'all next time. Have the day you deserve. Bye.